right, Cole, you ready? So, we're right here, PRI 2024, Indianapolis, Indiana, and I got Scott Goforth with us. We're just trying to kill a little bit of time in between when the show starts and move-in day was yesterday.
Yes, sir.
You're up here with Vision Wheel Booth. We're up here with Tyler's new buggy, the Brawler, and so we're just hanging out here. So I figured I'd take a little bit of time and catch up because, like, Scott Goforth is the undisputed champion tire salesman of the USA and the off-road world is what I'm going to say.
Sticky Jesus.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're kind of a guy that not many people know. Everybody knows the name Goforth Tire. You've kind of been seen or whatever else, but I don't know that anybody understands exactly how did like Goforth Tire become a thing, because you were that overnight success that probably took 20 years of hard work into making or whatnot.
It did. We went from zero to hero.
Yeah, y'all really did really quick, but like I do know enough because we spent enough time way back yonder, like getting started, and like I see you at Tellico and everything else, and
The Ross
Roundups. I mean, we're talking late 90s and that stuff. That's really showing it, but
the good days, the
good old days of it. Yeah, good old days of it. But yeah, you're 10 years older than I am. We talked about that last night. So the 16-year-old Adam wasn't really able to hang out with 26-year-old Scotty too much, just because we were able to hang out, but like kind of daddy kept me enough away or whatever else.
And I always hung out with somebody a little older than me, like Tony McMahon, shithead. You know, he was
all them guys.
You know, yeah,
absolutely,
yeah,
man.
So
Tony
I was
McMahon
already heard of my time hanging out with them.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we knew each other's paths and we crossed each other and we've become great friends over the years. But like, tell everybody else how did you get into selling sticky tires? I know your daddy run a tire business.
He started out as running a mail route in South Knoxville, and it was a bad part of town.
Yeah.
So he would have a half walking route and then half the mail truck, you know, and he delivered to this tire place called Disney Tire.
All right.
So he got to be friends with those guys, and he would go in there and get a set of tires for his buddy or his truck, and he bought an old hand manual tire changer. It's in the basement of my house that I'd recently just moved from. You know, I've been in my new house for a couple of years. Anyway, so when I was a baby, my mom would fuss at him because he's down there beating on that machine trying to get these tires on and off these old cars, you know.
Yeah.
And it just one thing led to another, and he had to retire. And I remember that day plainly. He had an Econoline van with a 351 Windsor in it, 3-speed on the tree, and that's how he hauled his tires. He delivered to people, and he had a couple wholesale customers. And I remember passing him coming from school. And he had retired from the post office, and he was emotional about it.
Really?
And he went full time. Didn't know if he could make it or not. You know, it was it was a big leap. You know, back then. But you know, this is in the 70s. You know. So.
Okay. So way back then you just. I mean, is it easy enough to say you just straight grew up in a tire business?
I straight grew up changing tires. I would hide in tires. They would find me and whip me. And I mean, I'd be down in stacks of tires and nobody could find me for hours. I was just playing, you know. I can remember running across stacks of tires. One, for instance, I was probably 10 or 12 and they would set the tires on the car. And I had a little buggy that I rolled around on, like a little snap-on stool, but it was a homemade. It wasn't no nice nothing.
Yeah.
You know, had a little wheel, you know, flop. And I'd made that thing comfortable. I had my air gun in it. And I'd tighten them wheels up. And the customers come over to my dad and say, hey, will you check that wheel? And he says, well, at this point, he's put more on than I have. You know, I grew up changing tires.
Yeah. So going through that, have you ever had a different job that was not tire shop?
I have not.
You've never had a different job?
No.
All right. So then when did you make the change from your daddy only did regular truck tires, right? I remember you telling me before, like whenever you started selling off-road tires, he thought you were just kind of playing, right? Like he was like, you were just like, that's Scott's little side gig.
Well, I always liked the big tires. You know, he would get me a toy, and I remember I've bought some of these toys back recently for my son, you know, that I had. You know, the only reason I still didn't have them, I busted the tires off it. You know, I took the tires off these toys, and then I couldn't get them back on, you know, and I had no help or support with that. So I had a dirt bike, you know, then next I had a dirt bike. And if I had a flat, guess what? You had to fix it. If you're going to ride that dirt bike, you had to fix that tire.
Yeah.
And just grew up that. And then one little story. This is a funny one. He sold a set of tires to a chop shop in Newport, Tennessee. And I'm not going to say no names. You know, he'll be seeing this. And the guy's nickname was Butcher Knife. So he wrote a bad check for these things, and they were 1844 Gumbo Monster motors. So we had to go repossess these in a really sketchy part of town, you know, and not legal situation, you know. It was, you know, a lot of people didn't even come out of that building, you know.
Yeah.
And I always loved those tires because they was huge.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else we worked on had those 1844 Gumbo Monster motors.
A big old Gumbo Monster motor. Yeah, you can bring those on now. Yeah.
And
yeah.
But I just, you know, he started selling Super Swampers. And my first tire was a 33 1550 SX on an 87 turbo Toyota. And that truck didn't last 10,000 miles. I had it destroyed. Transmissions, motors. I mean, I'd blow everything up.
Yeah.
I'd been in the lake bottom every week.
So a lot of people don't understand, like, it used to be a real thing to see 44-inch tall tires go down the road. Like now what's a tall street-driven tire? I mean, 40s is pretty big, but like 44s used to be a thing. And then like jacking up Toyota trucks and half-ton Chevrolet trucks and putting them on 44s and half-ton Fords, like
that was a big deal.
80s and 90s, that was a real deal.
You didn't have one or two in the whole county that was like that. And you're like, golly, man, look at that truck. And I remember a off-road shop, and you know this, Kenneth Spence's Ford drive.
Yep.
He had a big jacked up Chevrolet truck, and seeing it go into the fairgrounds like a show truck thing, you know, I'm like, man, that's bad. It had to be expensive, you know.
Yep. So going from there to whenever you really started selling a lot of four-wheel drive mud truck tires, like what time period was that? What was it? When was Goforth Tire being known in the off-road world?
I always done lift kits. I would stay after work, after we closed the shop, and I had to have them trucks done because when the shop opened, they couldn't be in there till apart.
Okay.
And so I did lift kits in the night.
So how old were you then?
16, 17 years old. I would do lift kits in the evening.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can remember taking one off one truck, putting it on the other, and have it done the next day. And, you know,
yeah.
And my dad's like, golly, you're good at that. You need to do more of it. And he was always afraid of the liability thing, but it's never been an issue.
Absolutely.
But I guess where it come into the big time stuff is when Jeremy Forsyth and Clyde Bynum reached out to me about helping with that. And I was intrigued that the machines would take that abuse. So I wanted to be, you know, I didn't even know they made a sticky top.
Yeah. So like at that point in time when Jeremy and Clyde started up with what's now known as Southern Rock Racing and really putting a competition to it. So then we had that time frame there. We're talking, you know, we're right into
13.
Yep. I was going to say 10 to 12 there.
Yeah.
That's when Goforth Tire really did start really growing. We had social media at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Everything started really growing. So that's what I'm saying. That's that 20-year come up of you working your hind end off and really building all the support system of a business and great guys to work around and everything else where you were ready. And I know like you just started selling tires. And then it was like you said, you found sticky tires. And you've always been the guy that can get whatever tires out there being sold at the time. That's
because of Dad's accomplishments, you know, with, you know, we pay our bills and, you know, it don't matter what tire it is. If I want it, I'll buy it.
You can go get it.
Yeah.
I've always loved the fact that whenever I've called you for tires, it's no matter what I've asked for, you're like, yeah. And you generally have.
Yeah, I have everything that's available. I mean, there's nothing that's not out there. There's one company that they just don't even talk to me about it, but their product ain't that good anyway. So, I mean, but
I mean, it's like, it's been pretty wild over the years whenever I would call in and like, generally I'm going to run a 43-inch something. But whenever I've called in and I wanted a Nitto or whatever else, like you're like, yeah. It's just I've always been really fascinated by that fact. If you weren't just a one-trick pony, of you just sold Super Swampers or you just sold whatever it is. Now you've got your favorite brands. There's no doubt. Like you work with brands and you move a lot of that product.
Yeah.
In that case. So, I mean, like at this show, you're in the Vision booth.
Yeah, I owe them a lot of notoriety because they've helped tremendously. The owner of Vision Wheel is one stand-up guy. Do anything in the world for you, and we can call him right now and he'd come get us out of jail.
Well,
Yeah,
keep his number tight.
I've got it right there.
Keep that tight. I mean, yeah. So, we'll get into that part just a little bit later because I actually we'll pick this interview up in the booth because I want to see the new wheels on your buggy.
Yeah.
I went by and checked them out this morning on the way over here to meet you for lunch. But right now, talking about that timeline of, you know, Scott started selling tires into the racing scene, then you come into the racing scene.
Yeah.
So who is Scott? What's Scott's buggy? Who built it? What you got going on there?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because we skipped a little time period there where I had a competition rock crawler that Ken Sheep used to own.
I had forgot about that. Holy crap. Now, I forgot about that, the little green and yellow one.
Yeah, it won the 2002 E-Rock, and I think it won the what's that called? Super Crawl?
Super Crawl, yeah. It was one.
Yes. Yeah.
So Ken was driving that car back then, and then that was a Twisted Customs car.
Yes. Jason
Pauly built it out of over in the Black Hills.
Yes.
Had a little 4.3 in it.
Yeah.
I remember that car. It had BFGs on it.
You could put that thing in like drive, and it would slip the transmission instead of breaking the tires loose, and it just put right up in the hill. I mean, it was just built just to do that.
I forgot about that car yet. Now, did you ever compete rock crawling wise in that car?
I know you a couple times. I won a couple things that went off with it.
Yeah.
I went to one E-Rock thing, but I got lost on the course. I was there with Shannon Campbell and stuff, and I wasn't paying attention. That was kind of a black eye moment there, but we won several things at Winrock with it, and I went and competed once in Clyde's race at Winrock.
Okay.
I couldn't climb the hill.
Yeah.
Just bounce around. It was not built for jumping and bouncing, and
that car was a crawler.
Yeah.
And it wasn't built for the rock bouncing type hills that we have that were coming on is what this sport was headed towards.
Yeah.
So then that probably brings in the next part of the story is whenever you actually had a dedicated buggy built for that.
Yeah, so I like welding and I like neat weld. So I looked at all these buggies and I'm like, man, this side don't match that side. And I talked to LeBron and he was like, yeah, gung ho, let's do it.
Yeah.
So started just sending him parts.
All right, so hold on. You say LeBron. I don't know if many people know who LeBron is. LeBron.
CSC Fab out of Rome, Georgia. LeBron Osborne.
LeBron Osborne, good friend, run a great company, CSC out of Rome, Georgia.
Yeah.
And then so what is it? Cave Springs Customs, I think.
Yeah.
Is what CSC stands for. Yeah. Known LeBron forever. Built you a great buggy. So
he done a real good job.
Absolutely. Yeah. So tell everybody about your buggy, the name, and then kind of what all components are in it and everything else. Like give everybody the quick nickel tour of that thing.
It's called the Rum Runner. That come to me as a drag car. I had a friend once that was in a bad spot, and I pawned his car. I gave him $1,000 for this drag car, and the transmission was out of it. It wouldn't move, but it had a nasty Mopar motor in it. It was called a Rum Runner, and it had the Mountain Dew, the original Mountain Dew character on the side of it, where the little things going through his hat. And I used that. I called the man's son, and I said, "Hey, can I use that name?" He said, "Yes, I'd be honored."
Yeah.
So we moved on to have that trademark.
Yeah.
Anyway, that way we got T-shirts, but we're not in that scene that much anymore. But we're going to. It's a 2016 CSC Fab.
Yep.
2 seat, straight drive, 400 turbo. It had a 4.8 stroker in it originally, about 600, 700 horsepower.
Yeah.
It's pretty nasty. 4 T-bolts front and rear. All the stuff come in your place.
Yep.
All the links come from Wide Open Design, the straps.
Yep.
It was originally just coilovers in the front, bypasses, and coil carriers in the rear. Now it's full-blown coilovers, coil carriers.
Coilovers front and rear, bypass front and rear.
Quad bypasses from Phil Accardi.
Yep.
Yeah, he done all that work.
Okay. So Phil did all that. Yeah. I know when we built them axles, I mean, that's when we were still doing the big fabricated knuckle stuff.
Yes, we still got those on there.
And it's still in there.
We've had to bang on them and straighten them. And
it's been a race car. So the car now, and that's kind of got you into there. So you were competing, and then I know real competitive there in a span there. You were every race.
Every race. We won a King of
seemed
Hammers in
like
16, the shootout.
that's
Right
pretty
behind
awesome.
Bobby.
So yeah, you
And
were.
that was a bucket list thing. I watched them things, and when Bobby won that was my tires. I mean, I was just jumping up and down. I mean, we had friends over. This was an event.
We will say that is kind of the height of whenever. That's whenever the height of whenever the rock bouncer shootout was a big thing at KOH, and it is not as much anymore. And it's a sad thing because, like, man, when they were doing it over there in Backdoor, the crowd was wild and the party was wild and everything else. And then where did they race the year you won?
Chocolate Thunder.
It was the first year that they'd done it at Chocolate Thunder, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And now, so whenever you're out there now, you hadn't been in a few years. So like Chocolate Thunder is actually like your party spot now.
Yeah.
Like, dude, whenever you look out at KOH, when you look out across Hammertown, dude, it's just a glow coming from Chocolate Thunder that you can see all the way from camp at night. And it's funny, every day that goes on during the week, it's like the lights come back a little bit further from Chocolate Thunder towards Hammertown. It just stacks up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's right. That was the first, I think the first year they had moved it from Backdoor over to there.
And that was the first race.
And you won that.
Yeah.
And that's awesome to drive from Tennessee out there. And then what's your run? What was your run?
38 seconds.
38-second run, and you took home the money. That's a pretty big deal. That is the deal. Like, I love endurance racing and everything else, but the rock bouncing, rock racing side of it is almost what I equate to road racing in a car to drag racing in a buggy. So like you're drag racing or you're doing this, like that's kind of the differences there. And man, the thing about rock bouncing is the small mistakes just really it puts you between first and fifth place.
Yeah, one mistake is 10 seconds or 5 seconds, and they're just so tight. You know? And then we got guys out there just, I'm going through there. I'm like, man, that was a good run. That was a good run. And then I get beat for 2 or 3 seconds. I mean, like, it's so fast.
It's so fast. It's so competitive. Everything else is like, man, guys like Timmy that are just straight consistent. Like that guy can just lay it down every time. And it's just like, man, you got to respect those guys that just lay the time down.
To sponsor him, we have for the last 2 or 3 years, and I've got him on our Vision wheels.
Yeah.
We cut the stickies, which they give him his tires, but we swap them and I'll cut them for him. Which is very good. I mean, he's used our name on the side. This will be the second year this year that's fully branded.
Yeah.
All social media from him gets, I get tagged in. That's a big leap, so I'm still there, just in the shadow.
Well, I mean, you're not driving the car, but you're still right there in the fact of it of either from a product manufacturer and a support partner in the racing scene. Yeah. Like at some point in time, as you get older and life changes, you got wife, kids, family, house that you're building. Life does get in the way a little bit. And like sometimes you got to back out of the racing scene. And I'm in that same boat, but we're still building cars that are very competitive, still pushing product in there. I mean, that's just the evolution of it. And that's actually a lot of fun is watching all these guys use your product and do really good with it.
Yeah,
and they're doing some great things
one
with
or
it.
2 sets of the other guys' wheels in the sport.
Yeah.
And he gives them to them.
Yeah.
I've got a couple guys I give them wheels, and I get a budget from Vision to do that with.
Yeah.
My mom's like, how can you afford to do that? Well, we got budget for that that you are unaware of. So,
yeah.
She'll be watching this, and I can remember they're really involved with me in what I do too. I mean, my wife goes everywhere with me. She's not here today because the kids can't even get in this show.
Yeah.
But it's a family operation. My mom, my dad, my sister, my wife has worked there.
Yeah, wife Nikki.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been around. You guys got married in
2016 on Cable Hill.
On Cable Hill, right there at my birthday, August 13th, buddy. I remember a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so Nikki and you got married there, and it was like that, then kids, everything else, just like, it's fun. It's been fun to watch Scott go from all the way through all these steps, and it's like, man, life's good for Scott. And life keeps getting better and better. It's pretty good.
Mr. Woodlee too.
Yeah.
I like watching your things and hear you talk and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And, your product has always been straight up top notch.
I appreciate that.
You answer the phone anytime when somebody wants to call. You can call me and him anytime. If we can't answer, we're going to text you back or call you back. You know.
Well, yeah, we're gonna get to you, and it's been funny to watch because we've watched people come in and out of this business, and this business is hard. And I would love to sit down and just at some point in time actually really talk about business ins and outs, because like when Scott and I talk, a lot of times it ends up being more about business than it does be about off-road at this point in time.
Like we had fun last night just talking about stuff that, you know, that happens on the daily.
Absolutely. You talk about like, man, I struggle with this. I mean, it's like, how do I put in a process for that? Like everything ought to have a little bit of something that goes along with it. And you're a true business owner.
Yes.
And that doesn't matter if you're selling tires or anything. And like when you talk to other business owners, you realize really quick that like a lot of our struggles really commingle from what I do to what you do to what somebody does that's selling a house.
Yeah, in every aspect.
In every aspect of it. And it's been a lot of fun watching you move and make adjustments and everything else and become a better businessman. And now we've been doing it long enough that we can both say we've got good businesses and we treat our customers right. And when the decision is made to do something right, we always just kind of fought for the customer and do the right thing.
Yeah. You just, I mean, if you're loyal to your customers and you don't lie, don't cheat. And I've got a conscience. I mean, some of these markups on these tires, it's the reason there's a lot of questions that's come to me. Says, why don't you post the price? Well, private message, you mean you'll understand that. There's a manufactured advertised price.
Yes.
You make people mad if you advertise anything, like, you know. So, but my prices are going to be anybody's out there. I worked with a lot of shops.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of shops.
Absolutely.
Busted knuckle, white design. I mean, just out in the open, you know.
Yeah.
Just the Sunfire.
Yeah,
they're good.
Scott's a great guy.
He used to try to sell tires, and he still does, but they come from me now.
Yeah,
and that's an accomplishment. You know,
absolutely.
Scott would have that trip right before I did. You know, because I ordered more. You know, I had like the journeys were coming. I got 400 coming. They can't fill the container. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I was making fun of you last night because I said, what have you got just a port carved in over here to the East Tennessee? I believe it comes straight off a boat to Scott's at this point in time. Like
it's the straight containers. Yeah.
I mean, dude, you're ordering tires on a massive scale.
Yes, and that's why you got to do it. Yeah. I got a friend that works at that place that builds the stickies, and he'll say, Scott, we just run 100. So I ordered 98 of them.
Well, you just leave it just an odd sets for somebody else just to fight about
or whatever. There was 61 the other day. I said, let's send them.
Yeah,
give me 58. You know,
it's like if somebody out there's got a busted tire, maybe you can call somebody else and get one, but Scott's got the rest.
And I mean, massive infrastructure to hold that too, because these tires are huge.
Well, I never even thought about that.
50 tires in a town. They'll be halfway out of the parking lot because we ain't got time to stack the dang things up there.
I remember. So, all right, when we want to talk about when the tire business got weird, I know it got weird during the pandemic, COVID or whatever else you want to talk about.
It got bigger.
It got bigger, but the demand was there. And I remember Scott he would tell me, what do you want? I mean, you call him and you can just tell he's kind of out of breath. It's like, what do you want? I'm like, I want 4 tires, 4 wheels. All right, you better be there when I call you to get them on a pallet and get them gone. I mean, dude, it was to the point where if somebody missed your phone call, it might be a 3 to 4 week wait.
Yeah.
On the stuff because
there was a lot of supply issues. But
you had like, I mean, me and you was laughing about it. It's like the way your daddy ran the business was off paperwork.
Yeah.
It was no computers and everything else. And we'll get into the change of that here in a minute. But like, I mean, you were like, I'm flipping over the paperwork. I'd hear you talking. It's like, I got your names up. You want them still? Yeah. All right, bye. And then, text me a receipt on it or whatnot.
That's one of my flaws. Dude, I talk super fast, and I just want to go 1, 2, 3, and done.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. If we won't talk about it, I'm just going to back up, and we'll sit over here and talk about it. But now we're going to get these tires ordered. I'm going to get them out of here right then.
I laugh
very seldom if I take your order.
Yeah.
If Tyler calls right now, orders that tire.
Yeah.
They're gone there in an hour.
Yes, sir.
Paperwork, shipping, everything.
It's out. It is done.
A lot of times I get my stuff done because I can't ship anything after 2.
Okay.
Right? Because can't dispatch a truck. My software just won't let me.
Yeah.
You know. And if you do, they get sitting there and I might skip them. You know, I might not
That's
say,
how,
hey,
that's how mistakes
hey,
happen.
you left a pallet, you know. So I'll make sure them things get called in and I'll leave 2 or 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
I've got a garage at home. I'll go home and work on something at the house.
Yeah.
I've restored a couple trucks.
Yeah.
A square body I'm working on now.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do that. And the boys are going to do that one together.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. So talking about that, like, let's lead in. How does somebody buy a tire from Scott Goforth?
Well, the easiest way is Facebook Messenger.
Now hold on, is that at Scott Goforth's page or is that
just the Scott Goforth's page?
I've got now, is that your personal? Is that your personal page? Personal. Look up Scott Goforth, personal page, shoot him a message. Tell you about the tires.
It's the one with the most activity. There's another one there that I don't even know how to get into or delete.
So don't get to that one. Don't see
there's no activity on it. You can just look at the dates and see. Mine is very active. It's a professional page.
All right.
If you text me, this is another bad thing, right? You know, and Jake Berkey talked about this once too. If you text him at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night,
yeah,
you're probably gonna get overlooked because there's so many comes in on Monday morning and Sunday day and stuff like that. People sitting home, they send these messages.
Yeah.
So most of the time I'll answer them, but I'll have them send me something back where it's unchecked. That way, when I look at it Monday morning, I'm like, oh, I got to get that dude's tire.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, and we're all guilty of that coming from the startup, the hustle and the bustle of the startup. Man, I've got customers that's got my personal cell phone number, and they'll text me something whenever they're out working on their buggy. And I know it might be at 9 o'clock at Saturday night, but I look at it, and then I won't even reply because I'm like, I don't want to open the text because I know I'll forget about this guy. Well, then sometimes Sunday, somebody sent me something and I opened the text and then I didn't reply still because I didn't even feel about it or I didn't think about it or I was busy right there on that. And then Monday morning, I do not forget. I've already forgot about that guy.
It's just not highlighted.
It's not highlighted. It's gone. That's a real struggle. So like what we did is we bought a cell phone and it stays at the shop. And I know a lot of people love text messaging. They love doing it off of at work. They can text message. They can do it from home whenever it is 9 o'clock at night and you're thinking about it. But you ain't going to hear back from me till Monday morning at 8, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
You'll hear back from us. But it gives us that direct line. Same thing with you. It's hard not to. So, I mean, honestly, I'll tell people for you and for me, like, if you're out there and you're reaching out and it is after hours or not really hours, and you ain't heard back from, if you didn't hear back next business day, then hey, hit us back.
Don't send a question mark. I think that's a smart. Yeah, whatever.
Don't do that. Just come back, man. Hey, round it up again. Like, what else do I need? Just send another. Just send a reminder because we need to be reminded. It's a busy life.
It's at one time Chandler and my tech, he's sitting over in the background here.
I wish he was up here because he keeps all the stories straight from what I heard last night.
Yeah, he keeps me in line.
Yeah. But he lines everything back up. Yeah.
If he gets my phone to talk to a customer, he'll hand it back to me. He'll be sweating because it's zip, 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 it's vibrating from all these other platforms and stuff. Yeah. Instagram, and there's people sending us pictures on TikTok and, all this.
Everything.
Yes.
And hey, you asked for it.
We did.
You asked for it. You put all that information out there.
I do really well with that.
And that's, you've told me before, your daddy, he'd make funny that you were just sitting over there playing on your phone all day long. And then you kind of showed him the paperwork about at the end of the month, like, well, Daddy, this is what we did. So that meant something real.
I think we done 175 and just sticky tire sales last month.
Yeah. So how many tires? You told me something over there between the core business, which is really selling tires. And that is another thing. Scott sells tires for everything. It's not just sticky tires.
It's not.
And he puts lift kits on Jeeps that are local and everything else. But like, how many tires a day do y'all run?
We'll put 300 tires on a good day. We'll put 300 tires on the road, rolling, mounted, balanced on the car down the road.
300 tires a day.
That's down the road. Not counting the stuff we do for the DOTs and the police departments and the fire department, all these municipalities.
Yeah.
Infrastructure that you don't see.
Yeah.
Police cars, fleet maintenances, the solid waste.
All the people that keep the world running.
Just everything. I mean.
So another thing that I've always loved it, and nobody has ever really bragged on Goforth Wheel and Tire about, is you can call over there, you buy a sticky tire, you can call over and get a price on a wheel. But if they buy the wheel and the tire, you mount them for free.
It's just easier to do. We ain't got 2 pallets.
I understand.
Yeah.
But when a customer of mine calls me and says, hey, I want a wheel from here and I want a tire from there, and they bring them in and does it, like, we're fabricators. We are not fast at mounting a wheel and tire. Like, on general, like, what should it take a normal man to mount a wheel, tire, and a beadlock?
It all depends about the normal man. My man can do it in 30 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, my guys, it's dang near.
What do you say, 15, 20?
It's dang near. You give that wheel and tire to a fabricator guy, I mean, it's dang near an hour in the back.
And then they're calling you, what about these weight spacers? Or what about this? It ain't going down in the recess.
When I do that and I talk to people, I'm like, labor rate, it's 4 hours to mount 4 wheels and tires. You are a value to use because you want to send the wheel on the tire mounted. There's a value in that a lot of people don't talk about. Yeah. That is absolutely, I mean, I'll be honest with you, like, that's a lot of the reason I love using you. It's because, like, I don't got to mess with the after effect. I didn't put the tire on. I ain't never got a tire from Scott that didn't have a valve stem in it. And I guarantee you I done put on some wheels and tires and didn't put the valve stem in the wheel. I promise you I done that.
That's a common mistake. Even my guys, like, shit, I forgot to put the valve stem in.
Yeah, so it's just done. It's done. When you buy the wheels and the tires from Scott, they come, it's done. If they stop off, my daddy stopped off a few times, and dude, he always just brags on how you dang take care of him.
He'll trade his stuff in, so we'll unload his buggy and go over and I'll get everything done. And I mean, we usually walk away and go chit chat and come back and his buggy's done. And it's just, he goes to Harlan one shit. And that's usually when we trade tires.
Absolutely.
Dwight will come in there and said, I'm ready. Let's do it.
It's ready. I'm ready to do it. And
he's got his buddies with him. And I've got a lot of his buddies that come do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Overlees, Brian Overlee, he does the same thing. He comes
Golly, man. Yeah, the Overlees.
Yes. Trade tires. And
Overlee rides.
Yeah.
Brian Overlee puts miles down, son.
Yeah, and I'll tell them, that whole little Rattle Rock crew, that they wear a lot of tires in. And I'll tell them when I get these things, I said, hey, don't wear these jokers out. I'll do something to you for 6 months. Scuff them up, beat them up. Don't run them flat.
Yeah.
Tell me if they leave. I'll trade them back in. So it's only $1,500. You get a brand new set of tires and wheels.
I can sell them about that.
I can sell them tires and wheels before they get to the bottom of the drive.
I have, you've always told me that. You're like, just trade them in and I'll take care of that. Like, you generally got somebody wanting some wheel and tires.
Oh, I normally post them, but I've got an active list now. So you're going to use tires, and I'll highlight that or save it, or screenshot it, something like that. And the last couple of sets, I'll just call and say, hey, I got a set.
And they eat it up.
Yeah.
So that's
Joshua Rowling bought a set a while back.
There you go.
Or one of the OGs.
Absolutely.
Been around for a long time.
Yeah. That's another guy that's a guy that kind of stepped out of the sport to start his diesel truck business. He's doing so good. I'm so proud to see out of that dude.
Yeah. He was acting up down at RBD.
Was he?
That old buggy, he bought it back. He went to Newport, to my buddies in Newport. Together. And then he got it back from them.
Josh bought it back from them, and it just
yeah.
All right. So cool. Well, I think that's got us pretty well up to date. We're fixing to move this around. We'll catch up over in the booth. I do want to check out all the new stuff from Vision and everything else. I want to look at your buggy, show it around, and I want to figure out what's up with the new wheels and then what all they got to offer.
Yeah, we probably need to come over, and I'm going to come in the morning. I'll come check your Tyler's new buggy out.
Yeah.
On a set in that joker.
Yeah.
We're talking about something.
Well, we are.
We got something.
We got to figure it out.
We got to figure it out.
I do. And actually, I would love
everybody.
I would love for you to sit in the buggy and tell everybody about the Vision and what you see and everything else, because a lot of the things that we see, like when you sit and look at the buggy from the outside, you don't understand how much you can see out of it till you actually sit in it.
And that's one thing. Back to when I originally got the Rum Runner, Nick Sosby had built Hitman, the blue one.
Yeah.
And I called Travis. I said, hey, you're not going to beat this race. I want to race that thing. It went wrong. And Nick met me in Sweetwater, halfway from Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Brought me the buggy. Travis really didn't know me that good, you know?
Yeah.
Let me have that buggy. And I thought I broke it because the rock was made all that noise.
Yeah.
First time around the yard,
Yeah.
you know? Went and raced it. Done okay. I just wasn't used to it. Or no, I was not going to try the man's machine.
Exactly.
And, you know, that was the only one I got to sit in and drive.
Before
Then I designed mine, you know, and me and LeBron back and forth, photos and that and the other. Now we're to another level.
Yeah. Yeah, we are at another level. We've learned a lot in suspension design, weight distribution, seating position. There's a lot that's been learned in the last few years. And it'd be time to upgrade this thing.
I got a lot of good parts.
You do.
I do.
And I would love to. And I went by and looked at the buggy this morning, and that's what we talked about. It's like, what can we do to take your buggy apart and honestly use what we got and get into one of this new chassis? And
we can do it, really.
That's a big thing when you're building a buggy. If you already have a buggy, doing just a chassis swap instead of a whole new buggy build, because like the root of the major cost in building a buggy is the components.
Yeah.
We know that. Like, can we reuse your engine, your transmission, your transfer case, your axles, all that? I know you want to go to rear steer. In your buggy right now, the transfer case is offset. It's both driver drop on the front and the rear end.
Yeah, it's
so with that thing, to put it into a rocket ship and get that real good seating position, we'd have to go to an SCS box. We're already talking about rebuilding the rear end because we want to do rear steer, but like front axle, engine, transmission, transfer cases are what they are. But then put your race seat in it. I'd love to see that, because is yours an ISP?
It is.
That's what I thought. So looking at an ISP, putting that into the car, and then have the seating position right, everything else. Now, Runrunner's 2-seat buggy.
Yes.
Would you go back with a 2-seater? Would you do a single-seater in a race?
I got little ones. If they can't ride, it ain't a deal.
I don't blame you a bit.
Yeah, we're going to take that ostrich seat and put it in there.
I understand. Yeah. So cool. Well, we'll catch back up.
Say CSC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll catch back up.
Fun attending out of on. We'll get you back somewhere.
We'll kind of just catch us back up over there then.
All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
All right.
All right.
Right now we're going to drink cold beer.
Cheers.
And find something to do tonight. Yeah.